The SDG Advocate Training is part of a larger programme called SAILTA, meaning Worldly Wise. SAILTA is made up of a consortium of 5 members: Development Perspectives, Concern Worldwide, Maynooth University, Aontas and Irish Rural Link. The SDG Advocate Training offers 26 passionate changemakers in the adult and community education sector in Ireland a chance to participate in an 8-month-long development education journey. The advocates deepen their understanding of the Sustainable Development Goals and go on to design and implement action projects within their own communities that impact on achieving one or more of the 17 global goals.
In many ways, I sort of see the SDGs as a type of compass that helps to chart the course towards a better world for this, but also importantly, I'd say this as a mother, for future generations. The 17 goals, of course, they're broad, but I think their greatest ambition is actually in that famous space that exists between the goals. The work of the Council is often portrayed as being about war, conflict, peace and security. But I think if the UN is to stand up to its charter to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, it can't do that by just addressing or running after existing conflicts and fragilities. It has to get to the prevention agenda. And there's where the SDGs come right back into the center stage, because they are absolutely critical to just about everything we do right across the agenda on the Security Council.
Play a game, and this game is going to bring us through conceptualising and reconceptualising and linking the SDGs, and it's kind of a really fun game.
I had a certain expectation coming into the course because of my background for so long working in the local authority. I had worked with the SDGs in the final few years of my career. And then in 2020, I remember reading Mary Robinson's book on climate justice. We all do the best we can, but we must do it following informed thinking.
The exploratory phase kind of laid out a lot of development theory, and that was new to me. And as were the SDGs in terms of a framework for thinking about the sustainability work that I already do. So there was a lot to take on board and a lot of things to digest. It set me up for thinking of the SDGs as a framework and connecting the different projects that I'm involved in, connecting them together. So, it's sort of expansive, I suppose. That's how I'd describe it.
The exploratory phase of the program really broadened my view on how SDG relates to the particular project I'm working on, and having interest in more sustainable construction. And that exposed me to the different links that connects in terms of the SDG goals, how it links with my project.
At the start, at the exploratory phase, I started to see that really it wasn't about knowing all the facts and figures there is to know about the SDGs. Really, it was about changing my way of thinking, and I suppose looking at those critical analysis skills, looking at how we really think about things and how, I suppose, really challenging our perceptions of reality. And I think for me, that was so much more important than, having to know everything about the SDGs, because that way of thinking, I think, really just helps us to, I suppose, really address the goals and address global issues.
My name is Claire Willis. I'm from Ballyjamesduff, County Cavan. I am the director of a community development organisation called Chalk Solace. My action project focuses on SDG number 3, which is good health and well-being. It is a report on the current state of good health and well-being in Ballyjamesduff. It is essentially a report that includes data that I've collected about the impacts of COVID, antisocial behaviour in the area, and kind of a needs analysis on the kind of amenities that people would like to see and the current lack of such amenities. For Chalk Solace, our ethos is to make education fun and accessible, and to promote artistic outlets and opportunities for integration and community connectedness.
My SDG Action Project is a website giving information on kind of social problems in Irish society, and it's really aimed to give people just a knowledge of what's going on in what they care about and the main organisations and activities going on there, and then ultimately what they can do to get more involved or learn more about that. The website aims to really give people the building blocks to start learning more and understanding kind of the world around them, and ultimately to get involved in their communities or in organisations and participate more in society and drive change that matters to them.
My area of interest would be kind of community development. I'm currently working as a community-led family support worker in Drogheda. The name of my action plan is Home, and the idea of Home is to create a theatrical performance which will be in a housing estate that will guide an audience through the house, through different rooms where they will experience different stories and give them time to reflect on how the SDGs might relate to them, or which social issues that they are passionate about. And the idea that when they leave this performance that they'll have that time to reflect, and maybe how that they should feel maybe empowered to make little changes themselves.
My SDG action project for this year is called SDG Meditate, and the idea is to bring together self-care practices like meditation and the awareness of the SDG goals. I believe in empowering people and gradually introducing them and bringing awareness to different ideas, in this case the SDG goals, because I think through slow awareness and in people's own time they can begin to engage with the process of the SDGs. The meditations will be free and available on Spotify, so there'll be opening meditation. Each goal will have an individual and a collective meditation for you to consider your introspective values around the goals, and then how as a collective we can work towards the goals, and then there'll be a closing meditation.
I'm Ria Niskis and I work in Sallynoggin College of Further Education. I have an interest in sustainable fashion. I've been teaching in Sallynoggin College for 17 years, and I've been teaching on the fashion design course, and I integrate a lot of sustainable fashion into my lessons and activities. For the action project, I'd be designing the sustainable fashion module, and it would be designed using universal design principles and giving learners the opportunity to explore critical thinking throughout the module, also give them opportunities for experiential learning, transformational learning, and it would also embed development education into the fashion design course.
My action project is to try and reduce the amount of single-use food packaging that we put out into the world. End goal for it would be that Kilkenny City will become single-use food packaging free by using reusable containers that a customer can take and then return to a drop box somewhere around the city, which are then gathered up, cleaned and redistributed to all the participating cafes. This attitude towards consumption and waste and throwaway culture is something that we have to change worldwide, and my first little step is to try and do it in our own cafe and then spread it to Kilkenny, and then hopefully people could see it and see it working and it could be implemented elsewhere.
Really, this evening's focus is about the vital and noble advocates who have taken part in this year's programme in the 2021 Advocate Training. So we have 25 with us here this evening, and the idea is to highlight as much of their work as possible through different mediums.
The 17 SDGs, for me, reflect the aspirations of people world over. But importantly, I think it's probably the best thing that the UN has done, and certainly the most significant thing the UN has done in many decades. For me, it sort of steps straight in and face on, but I think is a collective desire at this stage to address the climate emergency, other environmental risks. It gives absolute emphasis to the need for empowering women, but importantly, giving women voice. It enshrines our ambition to eliminate hardships and inequalities. And those are the hardships that all too many remain far from realizing their full potential because of such inequalities and hardships.
The SDG Tag Tool is an online resource recently designed by an organisation called Accelerating Change Together, ACT. It is a quick and accurate way of measuring individual and organisational impact on achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
I really connected at the beginning with the ambassador and her imagery around the SDGs as a journey. You know, she said that the SDGs are a compass that points the way to a better future, but that not only have we been blown off course, but actually we're going the wrong way. That local, regional, and global issues are colliding, you know, and that unilateral solutions, as we found through the pandemic, and we should know this, you know, they simply don't work. You know, multilateralism, she said, is the way, and we're just better together. Moving from exploration to action, you know, and that change happens when you step outside your comfort zone. Small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. I'm going to have that framed, I think, somewhere and put it over my desk.